Hi, this is Ben from Turn Sounds. Do not point a laser directly into your eye. Welcome to Just Keep Walking. This is a podcast focused on the Walking Dead universe, and today we're talking about Dead City Season 1, Episode 2. I'm your host, Ben, joined today by...
Isaac, hello.
And...
Liam, also, hi.
Ah,
Yeah, we're greeting each other today.
Yeah.
hello from me as well.
Hi, Ben.
I'm excited to talk about this one. Full, give us a spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Ah,
If I thought ahead, I would have learned how to say spoilers ahead in Hebrew.
Yeah. Maybe we can edit it in later if you think of it at the end. Otherwise, this will be
Yep,
very awkward.
no worries. Well, I mean, you've got Google right there with
Yeah.
the Google Translate feature
true.
right there.
All
I
right.
believe the character was saying that consistently throughout the episode.
Spoilers ahead.
Usually we don't waste any time getting straight into the episode, but this
No.
isn't wasted. So if you can read those Hebrew letters,
Oh,
then you'll
what?
know exactly
It doesn't have the Google thing for it.
how to pronounce.
This is
English.
fraud, I think.
No, we are not having any luck. my
No,
friends.
Okay. Shalom,
Very
shalom,
sorry.
everyone.
Alright,
There we go.
there we go.
Spoilers ahead.
And all that is because the lady was speaking Hebrew, the pigeon lady.
Yeah.
And we turned on the subtitles to work that out to confirm the facts for you. It wasn't French, it was
Yep.
Hebrew. So you've
Mm.
learned something. With that out of the way, let's dive into the episode. Now you know there's going to be spoilers. Could I go first for first impressions this time?
Please.
I really liked this episode, and I'm very optimistic now about the rest of the season. We
Big time.
all weren't too keen on last week's episode, and there's still some things because of the way that set stuff up that could not be as great in the rest of the season. But yeah, I really like this episode, and I'm a lot happier now this week than last week.
That's
How about you, Liam?
better than last week. I'm still not fully on board, but yeah, definitely improvement.
There had to be, and like we'll keep in mind early on in the episode, we're looking out for our highlights that we're going to remember to bring in
Yes.
as well. So have a think about that.
Yes.
But surely there had to be some scenes in this one where you were like, oh yeah. Whereas last week was a bit lackluster.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, for me, there was definitely that. I'm echoing Ben for today. I
Yeah.
think where I'm excited for more to come. I'm definitely seeing some of, especially for Negan, some of the things we absolutely love shining through. And some of the things that could be tropey, but they found to do in a different way, which we'll talk about that when it comes up, I think. I got quite a few notes, and I'm excited.
Yeah, same here. There we go. All right. So, yeah, look, starting from the start, at least my first note was that we've got the slowest chase ever up the stairs. But I liked it because you're not going to rush when you're climbing up a long fall like that. You're going to take your time. You're going to slowly climb up the ladder, even though when it cuts to the wide shot and they're like, it's supposed to be, it feels like it should be an intense chase scene, but they're just sort of like slowly going up the ladder one after the other. Yeah, but that was almost one of the things that made me like it more because it feels like in Fear or even in some of the more recent seasons of Walking Dead, they would have just been like racing up the ladder, and we would have been on the podcast saying, "Oh, you shouldn't race up a ladder like that when there's a death fall below you. Like
Safety
no matter
first.
what's going on, even if they've stolen your backpack, you should take your time." Make sure you've got each hold correctly. And they were doing that. So there's stuff like that where pretty much this whole episode, I don't think there was really any moment where I said, that doesn't make sense. That's a bit weird.
I'll give you one of my notes. for
Okay.
later.
But definitely compared to even recent Walking Dead, there seemed to be a lot less logical loopholes. That stood out to me at least. So, yeah, that sort of stuff. I
Well,
quite
that
like.
scene wasn't put to music either. It was just the echoing of them like going up the,
Yeah.
which I think was nice. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
like you say, some serious chase or whatever. It's more of just like, this pesky lady, she's
Yeah.
taking our backpack. We should probably get it back. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it had actually. Oh, and Maggie said something like, that's got all our supplies in it or something.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And I feel like a lesser show would have put intense music to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that wasn't the case. What's your first note, Isaac?
The right before that, actually, the fingers through the door is
Yeah.
Yes.
classic Walking
Yeah.
Dead and classic zombie horror sort of thing.
Yeah.
I first thought they were going to do a cheeky flip on that, where you see the fingers going through, and then they pull the door open, and it's Negan and Maggie and everything, and then, you know, like a subversion of the expectations. Yeah.
Ryan Johnson would like that.
But no, classic. Them walking away. We completely neglected last week the somewhat jump scare, not jump scare
Yeah.
of old pigeon lady blowing the light out. I actually like shrieked.
Yeah. We all had
That you
it.
did.
Yeah, it could have been a sneeze. You don't know.
Witnessed that.
Yeah,
Well, you've
I'm
admitted
pretty
it now on live podcast.
No, but one of those things like the best kind of jump scares, I think, where it's not this big. It's
Yeah.
just like out pops in front of the camera.
Yeah, true.
Only scary because we didn't expect it, not even because
Yeah.
she meant it to be scary.
Yeah, that's
So,
true. Ah,
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
like that. Yeah, it's good.
Did you take any notes, Liam? If
I
not,
never
that's
do.
fine.
No.
But yeah, I don't usually.
All
either.
in my noggin.
Cool. What's the scene, particularly from the start of the episode? Ideally, what's something that stood out to you?
The daylight shot. That stood out to me. Like, ooh. Because we were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting the daylight shot of the cityscape or street view of New York City. Yeah.
And that's straight away, because Isaac last week you
Oh.
were saying, hey, it's like, I hope this whole show is
Yeah.
not just at night and it's bad CGI and all nighttime colors and stuff like that. But yeah, no, straight away
Yeah.
they're like, nope, here we go, daytime, lots of color, bright blue sky.
Well, even as we can see from the opening of this, that like we come back where we left off, and they're all in this dingy, dark setting, climbing this ladder and all of that. And yeah, it's this familiar blue-black sort of lighting, which means as soon as we go outside, like Liam's just said, like with the contrast,
Yeah.
bam, and then all of a sudden, what a breath of fresh air, and they quite literally zip line away from there into daylight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's good. It does. Now that we've talked about it, it does make you question how quickly the sun came up.
Yeah.
But hey, that's all right. I'll look past that.
Sure, yeah, well, yeah.
It's what it is.
Well, I mean, they were on the ground floor, and when they're ziplining
Yeah.
over stuff, it was
they were
substantial
climbing that
height,
ladder
so-
for a while.
Yeah. And they were taking their time. We didn't
Yeah.
mention that.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Ate some pigeons along the way, regain their energy. And yeah, even the intro, you commented that as well. That it felt a lot better. Just even though the music isn't as like it doesn't quite grab you. Still, the animation, the music's not bad at all. It sort of was a lot easier to get into this week. I feel. Did you guys feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely.
Big time. I think because, I have a little youngling who's sleeping in the house, as these gentlemen will know. So we have the volume a little bit maybe quieter than it would otherwise be, if, but with this new studio build is going to come something of a home cinema as well. So I very much expect that the bass track in this opening thing will hit better if we turn it up a
Yeah.
bit louder as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Not only that, in the intro, I don't know if I saw it last time, but there's a horse in the intro. Did you guys see the white horse that goes like galloping
No.
across?
I did see the deer last week, but not
Yeah,
the
I
horse.
missed the
Yeah.
deer, but yeah, there's a white horse in the intro that you only see it for
Really?
2 seconds. It goes like galloping past a whole horde of and I went, huh.
Maybe it's the horse that Rick was riding with before he blew up the bridge, and it galloped off
ran
all the
all the
way
way.
to New York.
Because we definitely needed closure on that.
Yeah, it'll like go to a close up of the red Rick's bloody handprint
Yeah.
or something like that.
Well, we've had terrible track records with horses in like the whole
Yeah.
universe anyway. Like right from the horse in Atlanta
Yeah,
to like the horse
yeah.
they're trying to like catch and tame, and it ends
Yeah.
up getting eaten. And then
Yeah,
yeah.
They actually ate a horse as well.
yeah,
Yeah. True. Carol killed the horse.
Yep.
Carol.
yeah.
You know what I like about this show?
No, Carol.
Carol.
Which actually, I think I haven't properly read into it, but I think Carol has been confirmed for at least season 2 of the Daryl Show now.
I almost did a
So,
spit take there. I was drinking. I was like,
There you go. Although there was a shot actually in this where they're coming up the stairs, and this is after, or sort of when they're up on the way up to the roof when the people are raiding them, and it looks like Carol's dead body on the floor, but it was obviously someone else.
I didn't pick up on that.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
okay.
Go back and look out for that next
Yeah.
time. Amazing establishing shots is my next.
Ooh,
No, like this is what we needed. So many things we needed last episode that now they've given us. So that's good at least. But yeah, even just to show us what the new hilltop looks like, and just to give us some sort of bearings of what the stakes are. I mean, they still haven't quite set that up as well as they could, but at least we can see everything. And if nothing else, it looks great. Yeah, I mean, it's the sort of thing where it's obvious. Yeah, sure. If this was a Christopher Nolan movie or something, you'd say, "Oh, that looks fake. That's terrible CGI."
Yeah.
But for what it is, for a TV show, I think it looks really good. Would you guys say the same
Yeah.
about budget and everything like that?
Yes, with a slight criticism.
Yeah.
We were told in the last episode that this hilltop is the same people, same setup, same values or whatever. So why did we not see any of the characters? Like, if you're going to say that that's the case, insert a, the back. If I don't know if Aaron is still at Hilltop or whatever, or
I can't remember where they all ended
you
up.
could have had a guy, not even the same actor or whatever, but very clearly Aaron from the
Yeah.
back, like just with a, with
Yeah.
a
CGI in a wide shot.
yeah, something like that, just so we could point out, oh look, there was Aaron. There's,
Yeah.
without having to pay the actual
Yeah.
actors.
Yeah, surely you could get like Gracie or one of the kids. You don't have to pay them adult
Yeah.
wages just
Child
to be there for
wages.
2 shots. Yeah,
Something, just some sort of a bone. If you're saying it's the same people, then I might have liked to have seen some of the same people.
Yeah.
I agree. That I feel like is the main telltale sign of a lower budget compared to like a really big show. But I feel like they did do the visuals well, and that was just sort of the one thing that made you say, oh yeah, that's right. They can't afford to have like the other main actors in there. That really seems like the only reason they wouldn't be. But yeah, it is what it is.
Is it that difficult though? Only because like if you look towards someone like Marvel with their like cinematic universe, even their like TV shows, like almost every single one, be it like the Punisher or Daredevil or I don't know, name one of the other ones, they all kind of have like little cross pollination things between, and I think that could be something setting up with when it's in a similar timeline. So obviously well beyond a set, a lot later in the future, supposedly. But like, with the Daryl Dixon, with this one and everything, let's see some of the characters we know just in and around, pop in for a little bit and off you go.
Yeah, I agree. I guess something else I would say is that even in the main show, the characters wouldn't even be there for that. But I feel like it probably almost would be more meaningful here to see, even if we saw, I don't know, one of the Scott or something, one of the random Alexandrians in this show, it would be like, oh, that's that guy from the original show.
Well,
But-
you'd be like that. You'd be like, who?
Yeah, but that is the thing. It's like even in the proper show, when they 100% for the logic of the scene, they should have been there. They weren't there. You look like you got something to say, Liam.
No, I'm just agreeing in my mind about. Yep, that's pretty accurate. Some of the decisions they made, you're like, really?
Yeah, for sure. Oh well. They do stop and eat a pigeon when they're going through the skyscrapers. So-
Hence the name Pigeon Lady.
yeah,
Do they eat it?
yeah, and that's there's like one line about it. There's like a throwaway line, but that's I'd take away Negan got
Yeah,
the
it's a
bone then
bone,
yeah.
for later. But yeah, that's again just a cool little detail because I don't know, but from what I've heard about New York, it's infested with pigeons, so it makes sense that's what you would be good at catching and eating.
I wonder if it tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
You have to cook it well, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
They're like vermin with like
Yeah.
disease and
Ooh.
such. Still, it's that or cockroaches, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, you go.
Bring on the pigeon.
Yeah, take what you can get.
Here's a note for you. Tell me if I'm like just making this up or whatever. I feel like Negan, every time he wants to explain something, he always starts it with the way I see it, and then add thing. He just like that's from his perspective, and so I feel like I've heard him say that like 20 plus times or something. The way I see it, and then he said that twice this episode. So
I've not picked up on that.
oh, look out!
Me
for
neither,
it.
but now I will keep an ear out for it. I'm watching through season 11 again now. It's out on Blu-ray, so I'll listen out for you.
There you go.
Now entered your reticular activating system.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
That sounds smart.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
It's a filter on your brain, basically.
For memorizing things or
Not necessarily. It's say you buy a Holden Barina, and then all of a sudden you start seeing Holden Barinas everywhere.
Yes.
Because your brain associates that as something of importance, and you should notice.
Ah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, all the sensory information you take in at any given moment would overwhelm us. So
Yeah.
reticular activating system is basically a filter to go, yeah, this is necessary, this isn't.
There you go.
Particular, like a sprinkler system, water retic. There you go.
Nice.
Cool.
Well,
Yep.
you've learned something, listeners. Tune in next week and don't say we don't give you value for your money.
Exactly.
Speaking of money, feel free to send us some if you'd like.
You just
Good
skip
plug.
past that
Good plug.
intro, Ben. If you want,
Yeah,
we don't have
yeah.
to talk about it, but if you wanted to see that little horsey run past,
Horse. Yeah.
I
right.
can't help but
Let's
feel
go
like it's
there.
relevant. I can get rid of that audio if I
There
want
you
to.
go. Thanks.
There you go. So, you got Maggie going past. So, has she got some kind of fear of heights that's been detailed?
never noticed that.
Well, even when she looked down on the ladder, it seemed
Yeah.
like that was a bit of a setup.
Ben let out a little, oh no, when like she kicked off because it looked like she wasn't going to make it all the way and like, maybe she was going to be stuck
Yeah.
halfway through.
Mm. Yeah, you could tell.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, wow.
The horse.
There you go.
It was so random. There you go.
Good spotting. Lots of helicopters too.
Oh, helicopters.
Mm. Yeah. I mean
That's
that
it,
the I'm liking even just stuff like that. Yeah, setting up. She obviously doesn't trust Negan. That's fair, but to the point where she won't even let him help her in like a very clearly dangerous situation where like it's like there's no reason not to let him help you.
Yeah.
Pull you in. And we can come back to it later, but then at the end of the episode, I like that she's sort of starting to take his advice as well, because he tells her then in the toilet about, you know, you got to give a little and they'll give us a little, sort of as far as giving information. And then when she's telling them the truth, this is telling the group the truth at the end of why they're there. She sort of looks over to Negan as if she's like, yeah, okay, I'll take your advice on this one, sort of thing. So, yeah, it's, there's all little things that's nice that they seem to just be paying a lot of attention to the writing compared to Fear at the very least.
Benchmark's pretty low from
Yeah,
what we
it's
hear.
pretty low. Well, that was Isaac. Yeah, showed us a screenshot of a review ad saying the best of the Walking Dead spin-offs yet. It's like, yeah, that's
We've got a lot of
you'd hope
competition.
so. Yeah. What's your next note, Isaac?
Bootleg guns.
Okay.
So they get ambushed by this group. We don't know what they're called yet. New Yorkers, survivors, or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Native New Yorkers, apparently.
That's a whole like contentious thing in New York. Apparently, if you're a New Yorker versus if you're from the surrounding like New Jersey or wherever, or,
Really?
yeah, even Brooklyn or something like that. Anyway,
No, real New Yorker.
that's right. So you got these native New Yorkers. I'm walking here type fellas. They don't like that either. Don't do that. He's holding out. I thought they were like nail guns or things like that.
That's what I thought.
But they looked heavily modified. So I was like, have you done the full janky thing where you're just taking something that's gas powered and now it like will propel something or whatever? I don't know if nail guns work differently overseas. Like certainly the ones we have here, you have to like they've got two prongs at the front.
Yeah.
And you got to like press it against something and then push the thing for it to activate. So you can't just go shooting it at people. So I don't know if there's a way to disable that safety feature so you can just shoot nails or
Super
things.
glue to hold the prongs in.
I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so it looked heavy as well. This guy's holding it out all the way. I'm like, bro, just like, maybe just hip hold it
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
And then if you need to fire it, it's menacing enough. You've got the power. So yeah. But yeah, interesting. They are obviously not well armed. So they're having to turn to these janky weapons.
Yeah.
which kind of says a lot about their whole operation. It's not well organized, well funded, or stocked. So, yeah, tell a lot about a man about the fire or sidearm
What?
or something.
What are you talking about? There's a Toy
Please,
Story,
someone say
tie-in.
something.
That being said, I did like the. I'm trying to find it here. The establishing shot of their like
Yeah, another
base
one.
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many good wide shots this episode, but yeah, I'm probably not going to be able to find it. I think it was here. Yeah, just showing where they've got some plants growing and stuff. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
They've set it up in this. I don't know. What do you think this is? A library, like a Congress building or something?
Atrium, potentially.
Yeah, that fits.
All these beautiful pops of blue as well. They just
Yeah.
like such a wonderful contrast against the green and green and blue. I like
There's
it.
some effort put into the set design for sure. Yeah, that I'm really happy with so far. The amount of city stuff, and it feels like we're in actual skyscrapers that have been neglected for 10 years, and I was really expecting not much from the show, especially from the budget. That it would be, we'd get a few cool shots, one or two sequences that feel like you're in the city, and then the rest of it would be like in the outskirts in random alleys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, they've really
Done pretty good.
yeah, absolutely. Even stuff, I don't know, you might be able to comment more on this, Isaac, as to whether it's realistic, but even when he kicked in the door, it seemed like, oh yeah, that's realistic. After 10 years, that would have been eaten out by termites and it'd be easy to kick through sort of thing. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, that was one of my notes. Breaking through door, not what you'd expect. So he's coming up against it. He tries to, jiggle the handle. It's locked, and so he gives it a couple of shoves. Okay, this has got a bit of give. And so you expect him to just lean back, heel kick, the door goes smashing open. Maybe it falls off the hinges or something. But no, his leg just goes through the door, and then he has to kick again, and more bits break off, and you think he's going to, like, reach in and undo the locks and then open the door. But no, he just like kicks it until it like falls apart and steps through it. And yeah, again, just not what I would have expected.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I feel like at least, the few things I've noticed that every time there's something that makes you go, oh, that's unexpected. Then when you think about it the second time, it's like, oh, that actually makes sense within the universe. So yeah. That's good. Definitely lots of good Negan charisma this episode. We've obviously, there's the big monologue moment, which, what are your thoughts, Isaac?
is it Negan that has the ding dong line in the other show?
Yeah,
It really
He
reminded.
knocks out the guy with the bell.
Yeah, ding dong.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
If you told me it was Jerry, I'd believe it as well. But
there you go.
No, I think
it's
it
one
is
of
Negan.
the what was that group? The Reapers. There you go.
That will explain why I don't remember. Saw it once.
Fair enough.
Oh, I'm sorry. This has just taken over my
Go
brain.
for
now.
it, go
If you
for
don't, if you don't, this is no way related.
That's fine. That's all right.
The whole ding dong line with Negan and everything is pretty cheesy, but for sure the thing that holds the top spot for at the moment cheesiest, like who thought this was a good idea line of all time? Ben and I watched recently John Wick 4. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like he's a kick-ass guy and he seems like a really nice guy in person, but his acting skills, I'm forever going, what? Lawrence Fishburne has some kind of line where he says something, hail the king. And then John Wick, Keanu Reeves just goes, amen. Out of nowhere. And I'm just like, why?
I think that's part of the character, though.
Is it?
I don't know if that's Keanu Reeves as like a reflection on bad acting. I think that's the character of John Wick.
Okay.
He's
You
supposed
look at
to
him in
be
like the
super
Matrix.
awkward.
Yeah, you look at the Matrix and it's not like that at all.
Okay.
Because I've noticed John Wick. We're going down a rabbit hole now.
Yeah.
He seems very much like very slow to answer, a little bit monotone. I
Too
feel
many
like that's
gunshots have gone off near his
possibly,
brain.
yeah. I feel like that's just the John Wick character.
Right.
Okay. Like if you told me, and this is in no way like any kind of me talking down or I'm trying to think.
Dispersion?
No, like a I'll find the word anyway. Like autistic kind of characteristics. If you told me that like John Wick's character had some deep level of autism, like when he gets asked all of these questions and he just says, "Yeah," like I don't know.
Yeah.
I believe it. Like high functioning.
Yeah. Would
Yeah,
make
that
sense.
fits.
And that's why he's so good at shooting people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one area that his brain just works so well in this
Yeah.
specific thing. Yeah. There you go. That's a deep dive on John.
Oh.
Well, one last thing, the best description I've heard of some of those line readings is that it's like they've done like 10 takes and the first 10 were all good and they're like, oh, come on, let's just do one more take, and he's now like losing confidence in the lines. Yeah. And then they use that
Yeah.
last take. All right. Negan. Liam, what were your thoughts on Negan?
Classic
this
Negan.
I'm sorry.
episode? Don't be sorry.
Classic Negan. I like the charisma.
Mm.
It was good to see that come out again.
Mm,
Yeah.
definitely. And it felt warranted as well. Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of, well, I'm sure it's going to go somewhere more further this season, but the sort of thing of like showing his crazy side, but not just for the sake of like a cool scene. It's
Yeah.
because Maggie's watching and it does actually work. It's an effective tactic that scares off the enemy and makes a good use of very few resources that they've got to intimidate an enemy who's far overpowering them. But obviously it's a little bit psycho as well. So yeah, it's that sort of thing that makes you see the logic behind it, but also question, I don't know if that makes him such a good guy still.
Yeah.
Because that actually brings us to my highlight.
Ooh.
The scene preceding that one where he's sharpening the bone against the wall while they're having that conversation. And Negan actually refers to all the things like how he knew, evil bad guy, what's his name?
The Croat.
Yeah.
I don't know
Croat.
about that.
Weird name.
I just looked it up, and that's what it actually is. I thought it might have been like one word, and we were just hearing it wrong. But no.
Does he
Was it
refer to
two words?
himself in the third
Yeah,
person?
it's the Croat.
Okay. Because Maggie says Croat and everyone else says Croat. So, whatever. But yeah, it's like, I'm sitting here with Ben, Liam, and the Croat. Is that like how we say it? Like, is that actually how it's...
Yeah, that's how they've been saying it so
Weird.
far.
Anyway.
It's weird.
So yeah, Negan's talking about him and he's clearly like reliving all of these awful things that this guy has done. But then Negan has a line, and this is where I'm getting at, where he says, everything I did, it was all a show. It wasn't like I was only a monster when I absolutely had to be. And so like this idea that Negan was this awful, monster back in the earlier seasons, who like enjoyed the power trip or whatever it was, under the guise of saving people. No, it was all just a show. And that walk that he does with this fella right before the knock knock sort of thing happens, you see him walk just through this corridor and he has like a smirk on his face, like he's getting into character.
Yeah.
And that to me, it sent chills because I was like, oh, we're about to see some like, damn, like stuff start happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, wicked good, like really good writing, and having that scene beforehand saying it was all a show, a performance. It was like, got you.
Yeah.
I get you now. Yeah.
It's good,
I'm going to rebut that a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that there's an element of truth to that, but I also think like he was power hungry. He had a harem of however many wives. People would bow down as he walked past.
Was that the show though? Was that like...
I don't think so. I yes, that could have been where it originated from, but
Yeah.
I still think that there's an element of, like this dude is just power hungry. He's a little bit crazy. I think that's still definitely a big part. Like you can put on a show to scare off potential enemies, potential threats.
Yeah, yep.
But the rest of your people bowing down, like having to get on one knee every time you walk past. You have a harem of 7 wives. Like that just screams, this dude's pretty psychotic.
It was
right?
only 7 wives. Let's,
Wow, so we'll extend a bit of grace there.
And
yeah,
also just taking advantage of other communities and forcing
Yeah.
them to work for you and give all their stuff. Like in this situation, something like killing Glenn or whatever, like that's how you show, hey, we're everywhere, we've got all this
Yeah.
power, don't mess with us. If you're facing a group who's just out there, killing people for no reason, but then you don't go and make them your slaves. And
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, it's sort of, there's a point where it's not just self-defense anymore.
yeah.
I think hearing your case there, I think I'll agree with you. I think he took it way too far. But you can kind of see how it would have started, because he was just a gym teacher, right? Like back in before the sky fell or whatever. So yeah, like I would very much believe that he grew to maybe like it. He grew to enjoy the way it felt. But yeah, right after the scene we're going to see a little bit later, he after he's thrown the guy and he sees Maggie, you see like complete remorse wash over him. He's just like, this is not me, but I'm still good at it, but it's not me.
Here's another side tangent for you, not John Wick related.
Okay.
But so when you said the sky fell and all the different names they have for like the apocalypse,
Chicken Little.
yeah. Because I was rewatching the start of season 11 the other day, and remember when there's all those like bags of bodies in the subway tunnel, and they've got to go through them and kill them all to get through the other side of the tunnel. And there's like light coming from above, so you could assume that there's like an opening above them, and they're saying, oh, these people died during the fall, and I'm pretty sure they're talking about when like the apocalypse happened, but it's still not 100% certain if they're talking about them falling down and dying that way. Or like yeah. Anyways, there you go. Definitely, yeah. I mean, overall, even just when he's reasoning with the people holding guns to them and stuff like that, it's just, you can tell this is a grade A actor. He's just so fun to watch and a really cool character. And I definitely agree with what you're saying. Like when he was in the bathroom saying, "Oh, I was never a monster. It was only for show." Oh, I don't know about that, but
So it might not have started that way, but you were a monster.
Yeah. Because I mean, even like Rick had his crazy moments, but you would see then he would feel bad about it in another scene or something. Like you can see it's a good guy who occasionally goes a bit too far, but it's like, oh, I don't know if that whole lifestyle lines up with you being a good guy who just had to do these things to get by. But yeah, love. I just love that he's exploring all that stuff, and it does feel like it's kind of going into some areas that haven't been fully explored in the main show, which is what we were worried about last week, that it would just be repeating stuff. And this doesn't quite feel like that, so it's good. My only complaint that I wrote down for this season, not a complaint, but criticism, whatever, is when the girl Ginny is in the bedroom. And it does that transition. It's, the lighting changes. It's obviously going to go to a flashback. And then it goes to a scene of Maggie and Herschel where she wasn't there at all. Because, I mean, she never lived there in the first place. So it was just, that's the kind of thing you do if you're going to a transition, if you want to stay in the person's head and show that this is what they're thinking. But it was just a bit weird to go to a flashback of completely different characters not related to her at all.
If it's the same setting, though, I thought it worked.
Yeah, that's fair. I just think they could have put in a cut or just even a title just to kind of pull you out, because it felt like we were supposed to be in her head, because there was a close-up of her face and she was looking out from her point of view, and then Maggie walked in as if we're seeing it from her point of view a few years ago. That's how I took it, at least.
Yeah.
But, and so legit for about 30 seconds, I was thinking like, wait, is that her? Because we haven't heard her talk yet. It's like, oh, is she actually a boy? And then Maggie said Herschel. Oh, okay. Right.
I took it a completely different way.
How did you take it?
She's sitting there. We haven't heard her speak yet. She feels like an alien in this group. First of all, we've had I don't know why teachers do this. I don't know if it's a real thing where they stand the kid up in front of the whole class like a piece of meat and pretty much say, this is so-and-so. make them feel welcome and all of that.
At least like check if you know their last name first before you say Ginny. Ginny
Just
something.
Ginny.
Yeah, some freak who doesn't have a last name or whatever. No, like at the start of class, when everyone's taking their seats, have everyone sit down. Don't bring her up in the class and say, "Oh, by the way, we've got a new student. Let's make her feel welcome." And then she can be sitting down, not standing in front of everyone. You might have
Yeah.
some people like turn around and look back at their seat at her or whatever, but I think it's different. Anyway, you've got her in this group. She feels out of place. You know, she probably wants to get out of there. There's some water tower significance which I don't understand yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's sitting there on the bed, and then cut to Maggie coming in the same room. Who's now sitting on the bed? Another angsty teenager who feels like he doesn't belong there. So I just kind of thought, interesting.
That's fair.
I did not draw that connection. Although I am glad you used the word angsty teenager, because I almost said while Herschel was being a bit of a goose. That's exactly what we need more of in The Walking Dead. More angsty teenagers. This is what I'm here for.
Is that?
That was a complete sarcasm. Because I'm watching this, I'm like, this is stupid. That was probably the worst part of the show
Right.
for me,
Mm.
of the episode.
Well, like, yeah, punk kid. Like,
Yeah.
oh,
Come
this.
on, buddy.
She tries to come down to his level. Oh, this is a brilliant drawing. He
Yeah, and he
scrunches it.
snatches it. No, it's not.
Stupid.
All right, man. Get out of here, you goose.
Like, I get it to the extent that this is Maggie the whole thing's about her going to try and save her son, and so it's showing more of their relationship, and maybe they were in a bad place before, like whatever. But yeah, even hearing like some people talking about this show saying like, man, I really hope just Herschel becomes a really interesting character. He's not a whiny little kid like all the other ones in these shows, that he's someone who really we can get behind as a character. Like, it would just be such a nice relief. But yeah, it doesn't seem like.
I bet you that's why he was kidnapped. The dude's like, you need to show your mother more respect. You're coming with me,
Come
bucko.
on, let me scare him a little bit. Respect.
The whole thing's a setup.
Maggie walks in. Bet you're happy to see me now.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, Liam could be doing Maggie impressions on the chat.
Well, next
Maybe.
week. That's what we're expecting.
Oh yeah, this week, ladies and gentlemen, I what was I? I was King Ezekiel saying
Yeah.
let's come over. Ben did a wonderful Eugene, and Liam was
Who was that? Oh, that was the governor.
the governor.
MVP.
Mwah. Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
very good.
Angsty teens. My last thing to cap that off is just my only thing about it was the camera move. That's the only thing, just because it felt like we were in her point of view.
Yeah.
It would have been cliche, but even if you did like a close up of a photo, like if that's Herschel's room, you do a close up of either the drawing, the scrunched up drawing, because it ties into the scene, or a photo of him and Maggie, and then it like cuts back to it. I don't know. It would have been cliche either way, but just something to go, okay, now this is separate.
Yeah.
Also, something on that. After that scene, we cut back to Maggie present day, and she's like looking down at something we don't know. Are we saying that that's the photo that she's got on her? Maybe that
Oh,
he's scrunched up.
Could be.
If that's the case, I wish they had done it the other way around. I wish at first, earlier on, we had seen some kind of a shot of her just looking down at some scrunched up photo or whatever. We didn't know quite what it was or why it was important. And then we see this scene of scrunches it up. And then you don't need the explanation afterwards. You're just kind of like, I was wondering, and now there's the payoff. I think that could have been
and
cool.
then they fade and disappear, and then Ginny walks into the room, and you do it the other way. You flash forward
Yeah.
instead of flashing
Yeah.
back.
That would have been a lot smoother,
Now
wouldn't
we're
it?
cooking.
Hey, well,
AMC,
writers can
give us
hire us
jobs.
anytime. The termite door we've already talked about. The motorbike helmets, that's not a bad idea. Hey,
I have a note
no,
for
you
Liam.
don't like it?
I've-
Okay.
Yeah. Liam, visibility with a motorbike helmet and like sound and everything. How is it?
It's not fantastic. So that was one of the things that I didn't like about this. Motorbike helmets would be fantastic if you're like surrounded by slow moving walkers and it's like a security mechanism, like a riot gear. But when you've got a motorbike helmet on, the outside sound is muffled a little bit. Especially all of them had tinted visors.
Yeah.
So they're walking around into dark buildings. You can't see anything with a tinted visor on in a dark room.
How's that for nighttime riding then?
You don't. Like it's super dangerous.
Okay. Why? Just really quick, Liam. Why should we listen to what you have to say about motorbike helmets?
Because I use them. I ride a motorbike.
There you go. He's
Yeah,
responsible.
It's not a smart idea. It's a great, like yeah. In theory, it works. You're like, yes, this is designed to keep my head safe, but yeah, it's just not practical in my opinion, especially versing a person.
Yeah.
Like, if you come up against a person, your vision is slightly impaired. You've got less that you can see because apart from the visor, you've got a shield around your head. You can't hear as well. One of the other things
Yeah, you can't hear. Yeah.
Yeah, the hearing isn't the main thing though. The main thing is the weight displacement. So if yes, you're not going to be hurt as much as someone whacks you on the head, but you're going to probably fall straight over because the balance is just going to completely send you bonkers.
Uh-huh.
It's like wobbling your head with a helmet on. You're like, oh wow, yeah, this is weird. My neck's not used to supporting this much weight.
Right.
So it's not practical.
And then
in
as
my
far
opinion.
as like, so they've attached all these goofy like spikes and saw blades and everything, and this guy's headbutting all these zombies to kill them. Can you like headbutt things like I don't want to say risk free, but like you're not going to shake up your brain by keeping on headbutting?
Oh no, you absolutely would.
Yeah.
It's not going to be as impactful without a helmet. Like,
Right.
That's obviously going to do more damage. But yeah, you're still going to cause blunt force trauma to a degree because your brain's coming to a sudden stop
Sure.
and smacking against your skull. There's just no direct impact. There's not as much of an impact on your skull on the outside, right?
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, not practical. Plus, the more you do that, like the more you're going to damage the structural integrity of your helmet. So I'm looking at the dude with the razor blades on the helmet. And my first thought was,
How do you take it off?
well, no, like, my first thought was like, that's stupid. That's going to crush his helmet. Like, if he's inserted razor blades into it somehow,
Oh, yeah.
the second he puts any pressure on it, his helmet's just going to split because it's foam basically with like a hard shell.
Right.
It's designed to absorb impact and crack so that your head doesn't crack.
And yet it's still heavy.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. Oh, I should have brought a helmet. I'll bring one next time and show you. Like yeah. So my argument for why that was ridiculous is because one, if it's just a helmet with some saw blades or razor blades attached to it, it's gonna really easily split your helmet. So that's dumb. But if someone would have turned around and say, well, they could have just like sealed it and made it even stronger, they could have reinforced it with some metal or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's just gonna add more weight to it. It's not practical, I don't think.
Okay. Can
So
I
you
shoot
think
off?
It would be better to have your wits around you and not the weight displacement than the little bit of protection it gives.
Depends on the circumstance. If you're about to run through a horde of walkers and like there's no other option, yeah, helmet's going to be great. The weight displacement's probably going to be a bit of an issue, but the trade-off is that you're not likely going to get scratched or bitten on the face now.
On the face, but
Yeah. But yeah, against people, it's going to offer you protection at the expense of you can't move as quickly, you can't see as well, you can't hear as well.
I mean, if Glenn had one of those, he would have been alright.
Oh,
Nope, no chance.
no.
Sorry, Isaac, what were you gonna say?
Just offering up some pros then
Yeah.
for like motorbike
Oh
helmets. I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah.
In New York City, where everything's dropping from the skylines and stuff, you're not gonna get damage to your head as bad, I don't
Yeah,
suppose. Obviously, to a degree. I wonder if it helps mask your smell against like the walkers or whatever. If you can like navigate hordes, if you
interesting.
just walk slowly, they can't see your face. They can't.
Yeah.
All of that. You keep your anonymity as well if that's important to you. That's about it.
It's good.
I like it.
And anybody who's ever been at the lights and seen a motorbike rider with their visor up, the minute they flip it down, man, that guy's cool.
Like Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
All right, notes. I'm pretty much at the end of my notes actually. What have you got, Isaac?
Couple
Let's
more.
go through yours and mine is then right at the end, so I'll leave that.
One of the ones I had a chuckle at. So with the whole, not ding dong,
Knock knock.
knock knock. Yes, similar thing,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. With the whole knock knock thing with Negan, I like that that's where we got the title episode from, Who's There. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But-
I didn't think about that.
My first note with that is like he smashes the guy's head through the window to get their attention. And I thought he was going to do some kind of like torture / interrogation thing. And the Heath Ledger's Joker thing just came to my thing. Like, never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. And, like, so I was like, yeah, interesting. So
Yeah,
But
in a way,
that
it's
could
kind
be
of mercy if he knows he's about to slit his throat. At
Yeah.
least like make his
True.
head fuzzy.
very
that guy,
true.
after the third window smashing through, he's all like, I've had enough. Like, he's just not at home. Not really. So, but yeah, that was a note for there.
He should have been wearing a helmet.
Yeah, he was. He thought he was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
how'd that work?
Dude, the Croat is referred to.
I'm not on board with that name.
No.
None of us are.
He's referred to as Van Gogh by one of the other guys, the Van Gogh looking guy. So, Van Gogh the painter, he was also missing an ear.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which so as soon as he said that, I was like, that's like a bit of a roast, but also kind of clever as well.
Yeah.
So,
I
which
dig it.
I suppose the perfect roast is a combination of the two things, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
yeah, calling him Van Gogh, I think was neat.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wasn't there also a guy in the Bible that got his ear cut off or something? Or Simon did that to someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the Garden of Gethsemane.
There you go. Oh yeah, Roman guy.
Jesus.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
Jesus
Yeah.
put it back on.
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
Nope. He needs that to hear things.
And he can't go through his life being called Van Gogh. So
yeah, people are going to make fun of him, Simon.
there you go. So yeah, Van Gogh. And then I got a broader note for the end, but
Okay. Well, I've got kind of a broad one for the end as well. This is regarding the marshal. That's the word, not ranger. That's the word I was looking for. Marshal.
Hurley.
Yeah.
Hurley.
So it kind of seems, well, at least it seems obvious to me that they might not go that way, but it seems like now they've got a common enemy. The
Yeah.
Croat guys captured him, so at some point he's going to have to team up with Negan, who he's been hunting. Is that a fair? Would you guys guess that as well?
I didn't think of that. I thought the opposite. I thought he's now going to team up with the Croat to get to
Oh,
Negan and Maggie.
okay, yeah, possibly. Hey, you could be right, actually.
Yeah.
Can I offer a different scenario here?
Option A, option B. I'll give you option C.
Hey, so Negan has done this whole display of, violet display. Butter, bring out your umbrellas because it's going to rain or something. I don't know. So word is going to get back to the Croat that, Negan's back and he's crazy, man. We all saw he slit a guy's throat. He spilled his guts everywhere and all of that stuff. And it's like, so the Croat, I reckon he gets a bit shaken. He's like, I thought Negan was different now or whatever the thing was. Oh, I guess he ran away with his ear shot off. But I reckon it rattles the Croat. It's such a stupid name.
Yeah.
So stupid.
I reckon he gets a little bit rattled, and then maybe Negan starts to play on that whole thing, and he builds it up bigger and bigger until it's this kind of just this stare down, effectively at the end. I reckon that's how it's gonna go.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Cool.
I
I
like
like it.
It builds the momentum, I reckon.
Yeah.
My
My
knock knock joke every time.
my only thing, either way, with how it goes with the Marshal is that, again, we already said this last episode. This is a note more for last episode, but just that it would have been really nice to have a bit more setup, so we
Yeah.
know who the Marshal is and why he hates Negan, because he said it, but saying it is one thing compared to actually seeing it in a scene or just showing us in some other way rather than him saying it in a monologue to a bunch of people at a bar. Because he killed a senator or something
A magistrate.
magistrate. Like, what the heck does that? And it's just so weird and removed from what we know about the universe that it really is
True.
hard to get on board with. At least to get emotionally on board with where he's at. So it'll be kind of. I feel like that's going to be an issue later on for something that could have been satisfying. Will be a bit like, okay.
Yeah.
Was that the scene with his brother that shot himself in that apartment?
I was wondering.
Yes.
You're saying that? Okay. So he's lost a brother as well
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah, actually, that'll be interesting to see how that ties in, because it's got to have some relevance, but it did seem kind of just like random scene.
Because there was like a deliberate close-up shot of like a crack pipe on the stove as well.
Yeah.
And like all these, cans and goods and stuff that were expired or opened. So like he's been there for a while. He's a bit of a user, and then he's offed himself.
Mm.
So troubled.
Yeah. There you go.
Eh.
Interesting. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much at the end of. What have you got a highlight, Liam, that you haven't mentioned yet?
Funnily enough, my highlight would obviously the big highlight is Negan being Negan. That was great.
Yeah.
So
But
good.
one of my other ones was Pearly, whatever his name is, Old Mate Marshall.
Armstrong, I think it is.
Yeah, such a strange name. Him actually escaping the building and using like the fire exit.
Where
ladder
did
thing.
Pearly come from again? was that from last week? Did it?
That's his actual
someone-
name.
Oh, that's his actual
Yeah,
name. Oh,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure that's his name. Yeah,
He says it.
it's
Oh.
ridiculous.
Pearly
Like, cool. We didn't take you seriously before.
He's owning it. Good on him.
Yeah. Sorry. Continue.
But yeah, him escaping down like the New York style fire exits. I
Yeah.
quite liked that.
Mm.
Hey, I'm escaping here. Yeah.
Yeah. My. Have you got another highlight, or you've said yours already?
I've said mine. What's yours?
Cool. We already talked about establishing shots, but there was one drone shot in particular panning up the skyline of New York, and we see detail on the streets and all where the cars are all blocked.
Yeah.
Just the amount of detail in those shots, I'm really happy with, and that's the sort of stuff that I love seeing in apocalyptic things. Just I mean, cities especially are so exciting just to see like how it's all falling apart and stuff. So just to be getting so many of those wide shots showing off the landscape, really happy about that. Yeah.
I will look forward as well to when I can't tell if it's real or not. I feel
Well,
like,
obviously New York hasn't been falling apart for 10 years, so it's not real.
you know what I mean, though. Like when they throw a budget towards something, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Wow, this looks like a set which you've really like destroyed everything," and and if you can get past that whole idea of it being a set versus seeing something which very clearly looks CGI to you and a whole like generated landscape type thing, so
Absolutely.
that's more so what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. This is a super random note. Just one last thing off topic, but kind of on that note of CGI, because you brought this up regarding the when we see walker herds, and they always kind of seem like a bit hazier, desaturated and
yeah.
stuff. I was looking at a shot recently that I shot of a whole herd of sheep, and it legit looked the same as that because of all the dust they were stirring up. It was like in the middle there was sort of this haze, and it looked all like no contrast compared to the rest of the shot, and it was really weird, but it was kind of exactly how you were describing it, at least, and how I remember it looking on the show. So maybe there's something to it.
Yeah.
I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
Interesting.
I'll show you the show afterwards, but yeah, there you go.
The only thing I'd have to say to that is sometimes, like in my line of work, where I might hang a shelf a certain way, and the spirit level will say this is exactly level, but due to whatever tilt in the room, it looks like it's on an angle,
Right.
and so you have to go against what the actual tool is telling you is correct in
Yeah.
order that it looks good.
That is a very good point.
So I don't know. So with your sheep thing, maybe then it's like
Too real, it's
Yeah.
fake.
you know, add something to it.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. Though I'm on board with that. Cool. Well, we're going to wrap it up there for the episode, but we've got one or two other things to talk about real quick before we wrap it up. One is the Daryl promo, which
Yes.
we've got more than 5 seconds worth this week. We've got a 2-minute promo of him walking across the countryside of France. What did you guys
Oh.
think?
That's pretty much. Sorry, that was my note.
yeah, cool. Fair enough.
Just odd.
Yeah,
Like I'm really excited to see more of Daryl, but
sure.
yeah, it's so odd. Like of all places, he's just made his way to France, and everything in me is like, I hope that it's just not this really far fetched. This is how I got here.
You're probably wondering how I got here. Freeze frame and no, like we were commenting as we watched it. Like, looks like it's sick budget. Like,
Yeah,
he's got some kind of harpoon looking thing. He's on the radio saying, "I came here looking for something." So, wonder what that something is. You know, like bit of mystery there. Yeah.
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 Interesting.
Not keen on the music, I was saying. But
Okay, I didn't mind it too much, but yeah, that's fair.
it seems very entry level,
Right.
especially like if you listen to the opening of like Walking Dead, like the violin,
Yeah.
it's like, really low and ominous and everything. Whereas this one was, it was unsettling because it almost had like a jolly
Yeah.
sort of feel to it, but in like an off key. That's the only way I could explain it.
Yeah. You were saying it sounded quite synthy as well
Yeah.
instead of a real orchestra, which, I mean, a lot of Walking Dead in the middle to later seasons, a lot of it is synth, but there's at least a foundation of like a small orchestra, at least like 5 instruments or something like that they're working with. At least in the earlier seasons, there were.
Mm.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. We'll see where it goes. I mean, the only benefit of the doubt I can give the front thing, it's still just weird, but is that Jenna, the doctor in the first season, mentions that the whole thing started in France, the whole outbreak. So there's kind of something they could do there. And they've
Forgot about
teased
that.
there's the variants as well.
Yeah.
Forgot about that too.
Yeah.
And in World Beyond, French runner zombies. So
Super strong
Yeah.
too. by the looks of
Yeah.
it, yeah.
If at one point he sharpens a baguette and like stabs one.
spikes one on top of the Eiffel Tower.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So there we go. We'll see what happens. It is actually interesting to know, like, to think that they've put out this, which is, you could call it a sneak peek, and it's essentially, it feels like you're seeing a condensed version of maybe the first 10 minutes of the episode. But to get this before a more stylized trailer is a bit
Yeah,
unusual. Like
strange, isn't
usually you get a trailer first, and then you'll get a few more sneak peeks and in-depth things later. But
Yeah, the trailer would at least give you a little bit of context around what's happening.
sure.
Yeah.
Apologies if you've said already, but do we know when this is coming out?
Not 100% sure. I think like maybe September this year, something like
Oh, wow,
that.
so it is going to be this year.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're filming season 2 already. It's like, it's really
Wow.
weird. There's something strange going on. but Anyways,
Perfect.
there we are.
So not a limited series then. All right then.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Well,
no.
neither was this one potentially because it says season 1, episode 2.
Mm. I mean, it'll say that for anything, even if it is limited, just on this platform. But still, yeah, there's definitely the potential for it. So we'll have to see. And the last thing we've got, I figured we'd bring it back. Why not? Is
Can I just,
yeah, go for it.
I just got one tiny little thing which came to me right at the end, which really I feel like the marketing team could have done something with to really hype people up and get people chilled and all of that.
Okay.
Dead City or Isle of the Dead was the working title, I think. You're sitting there in your writer's room and you're trying to pitch something that's like, what's something that we can use within the Walking Dead world that'll really get people like, hyped and maybe a little bit, not anxious, but that's the word I'll use, anxious, I suppose,
sure.
for now. About so you've got New York City, an island, right? Connected only by bridges. We established that the bridges are blown up. Now, all of a sudden, you've got this island completely populated by dead people. It is the Isle of the Dead, or now we're going to call it Dead City. And it's like, then you use that for like, people hear stories far and wide of, New York used to be this flourishing blah, 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 and it is now Dead City because it's like, you go there and it's overrun by millions of walkers, it's unthinkable place to visit, and then all of a sudden you create this mystique around this island and all of these things, and then you get there and you find out that it's actually being run by the Croat and it's actually very well contained, what starts off as this premise of being like Island of the Dead is now I thought that could have been something really cool that they marketed it as.
yeah.
So yeah, Dead City, because that sounds like, Isle of the Dead sounds like such a cool and forbidden place.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because they've gone into the city in Atlanta. Like in later seasons, there was the whole hospital thing there with Beth and all that, and then They went to Washington to the museum and all that sort of stuff. So it's like that. You can kind of go in and out of other cities if you're careful, but it's like, yeah, the dead city, like no one goes there. Stay away. So.
Yeah, no one returns as well. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. I don't mind that idea. That's a good one. So yeah, one random segment I thought we'd bring back. We haven't done it in a while since we're on a new show now. Is the escape scenario? Is that what we called it?
did we give it a name?
I don't know. Or whatever it is. We give someone a situation where they have to think of a way that they would escape if they were there in real life, being chased by zombies.
Golly,
You've already got one planned by the sounds of it.
I do. So who would like to volunteer for this week? And we
Oh.
can take turns. in
Liam was
future weeks.
first the very first time we did it, and he ended up on the roof of a library.
Still there.
Yeah.
Still haven't made it down.
Oh boy.
Mm.
So
Are you
does it-
volunteering? Is that
I
what
was
this
going to
is?
say, does it make sense within the trend
Mm.
that we
Should
let
we
Liam
start with
begin?
that I
Liam?
go-
All right. Yeah, I think it does.
All right, bring it on.
All right. So in this scenario, you are in the middle, right in the middle of the Sydney Harbour Bridge.
Oh,
Oh,
There's
my
a horde
God.
of zombies on each side. They haven't gotten onto the bridge yet, and there are all like broken down cars on the bridge as well. So you've got a few options there.
can we give him like 2 minutes or whatever, and we like throw obstacles in as well?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
that sounds good. All right, 3, 2, 1. Whenever the music kicks in.
Okay, so the hordes have seen me, I take it? They're
Yep.
closing in? Yep. Alrighty. So there it is, and the suspense builds. Okay, so I've done the bridge climb twice.
Wow.
Now, you can't get to the top of the bridge from the center of the bridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump up on some cars. They're coming for me. Jumping up onto the cars, and I'm going to try and scale the cars, get around the walkers. Because they're slow, right? They're
There's
slow.
a big gap, and there's walkers in between the car that you want to jump to next,
All right,
and there's
cool.
too much of a jump
Yep,
to
cool.
make.
So that's not going to work then. Look, the strong reality is I'm going to die here.
Oh, come on, keep it going, keep it going.
All right, I'm going to go to the side of the bridge because
Okay.
I'm aware that there's pathways and passageways
Oh, there we go.
outside of it. So I'm going to try and scale the side of the bridge. Obviously, if a walker follows me, it's going to fall.
Ah,
Go
yeah,
into the
they
harbour.
don't know how to climb.
You see
Yeah.
a person across from you in the car who's flailing for help, saying, "Help me, help me!"
What do you want from me to do? Okay, well, I'm going to try and signal them to climb over to where I'm at.
They're stuck in the sunroof.
What are you doing in the sunroof? Alrighty, I'm going to rush over. Is it clear to me and them?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to rush over. I'm going to try
Gap's
and
closing.
pull them out. Alright, so we've got mere seconds. I'm going to try and yank them out. I'm on top of the car, booting the sunroof, booting the roof, trying to just bust it open a little bit. Do I get this person out? Yes or no?
hero, yeah.
Yes.
Awesome, cool. We yeet right over to the side of the bridge.
Oh, she's been bit.
Alright,
Ah.
well, every man for himself. See you
Oh.
later, love. She's been bit, but I'm like, look, you're bit. It's game over for you. Where's she bit, actually?
Calf.
Calf, do I have any weapons on me?
No, but you start having flashbacks of all the good times you had together as she's been
I
hit.
know this person? Oh, this is even worse. Okay, well, I'm like, look, this isn't good, but let's get out of here. We'll sort it out later. So you're welcome to follow me or you're welcome to be a human sacrifice. The choice is yours. I'm going this way. So I climb over the side of the bridge again. I'm trying to scale my way. Have I made it to the side of the bridge yet?
You tell me.
Well, I
Yes.
don't know. Okay, cool. I'm now going to actually do the bridge climb. Walk all the way
wow.
up right into the highest point of the bridge. There's a little tower thinger that you can sort of chill in there.
Look at you.
Yeah.
So is that your plan from here, just to wait them out till the horde passes and then climb down, or?
Well, I'm just going to figure things out from here.
Okay. But
This
you're
is the library all
temporarily
over
safe.
again.
I was gonna say Liam's number one
Yeah.
thing is elevation. I need elevation.
Back
quick.
here again.
Well, what else am I in this situation? I'm pretty screwed.
Yeah.
If I could try and run off back onto land, I suppose.
Well, that was
But-
kind of what I was thinking beforehand. I figured you had either get down somehow, like find a rope in a car and lower yourself off
Too
the
high.
bridge.
Way too high.
Either that or find somewhere to hide, which you did, and wait for the horde to pass, or get in a car and just try and plow through them, or a
Oh,
truck
I
or
didn't even
something.
think of that drive.
I thought of two things off the top of my head. First is you just like do a little roll underneath the first van that you find and just stay there.
Yeah, dumpster logic.
Something like that. Hoping there's no crawling walkers or else you're in trouble. That or a lot of cars actually, and this is pretty good advice for just people in general, have first aid kits inside. A lot of like actual vans have fire extinguishers inside as well.
Oi.
If you like looked around, if the bridge is chock full of cars, there's probably going to be a van or two. So you run over to one of those. You either throw yourself inside the van if you can barricade yourself in there, great. Plan B, you grab the extinguisher. Now you've got like a foaming thing that you can like spray in the eyes of like walkers and stuff and disorientate them to get away.
I like it.
Or look for a car with a boot that you can get out of if you close it. Like one of the ones with like the flaps that covers it.
Yeah.
So then you can hide and no zombies can see you.
Well, the trouble
But you
is
can
they
still
saw
get
me
out.
already though.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
true.
They'll get
I
bored.
could hide, but
They'll get bored.
Yeah.
yeah, they're already on my trail.
I'm actually really sorry that I gave you the moral dilemma of having to save a person or save yourself. But we learnt a lot about you, Liam. What a good guy.
Yeah, good job.
If there's nothing I can do, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna be like, I'm sorry.
That's it. Well, good job, Liam.
Once
Thank
again,
you.
Stuck on high ground.
That's it.
You have the
That's
high
it.
ground.
Yeah.
Good job to all our listeners for sticking to the end. Thank you very much for
Oh.
listening. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. So thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you come back next week. Make sure you get in touch with us if you have any thoughts, if you agreed, if you disagreed on thoughts on the episode or what Liam did on the Sydney Harbour
Yeah,
Bridge.
tell us what you
you
would
can
do.
give us your
Yeah.
own ideas.
Where would they go to do that, Ben?
Well, they would go to their email app and type in turnsounds@gmail.com.
There you go.
Or to Instagram. Now we've outsmarted Mark Zuckerberg
Hey.
and we've reclaimed our Instagram account. So now it's properly called Just Keep Walking Podcast again. So you
Boom.
can search that up, get in touch with us there, or Turn Sounds if you search Facebook if you search Turn Sounds. There we go. I did not do that well.
Yeah,
But you have
good
the
out.
information you need. So that's it. Thank you and good night. I've been Ben.
I am Liam.
I'm Isaac.
Oh, I forgot how we did that. Yeah,
I didn't know we did
anyway.
that.
It's
No,
not
that
really-
was
I'm
from
just-
another podcast. All right, forget about it. Thanks for listening. Just keep walking.